So if we've already gone through and verified that our setup is proper, and for some reason we're just not getting sufficient flow out of the system, we are going to start with looking at the first stage of this system, which is your pre-filters. Now the Pure Plus has two pre-filters, which both require changing at the same time. When you have a noticeable change of flow and you've verified that the issue is not your source, it is time to change these filters, and you change them both. Now if you found that you've changed your pre-filter, you run water through your system again, and flow is just inadequate, the next step would be to see how much pure water am I getting out of my system. We're also going to measure how much water is coming out of the waste discharge. This can be done using two different buckets, and in either a minute or 30-second time span, you'll take both your output and your waste and you measure them at the same time for either 30 seconds or a minute. And then you'll compare results. Now, these results will fluctuate depending on how much pressure you are achieving into your RO membrane. On the Plus system, that is measured here. So you have a pressure gauge here. So you'll kind of know what kind of pressure you're dealing with to see if you're getting an appropriate amount of pure to waste. So obviously, if you have lower PSI, lower pressure going into your membrane, your proportion of purified water to wastewater is going to be kind of equal. So you can determine that you need a little bit more of a boost, whether it's the pump, whether it's that temperature, or whether your source is just not enough. You'll be able to measure an appropriate amount of pressure required for this membrane to perform. On average, you're going to see around 40 psi from a well. And at commercial jobs, more than likely you're going to see more pressure coming out of the spigot. So again, your performance will vary. If you've determined that your waste fitting at high pressures is putting out a significant amount of wastewater compared to pure, it may be an indication that the restrictor has failed. Now that is a flow restrictor, which regulates flow at about 0.25 gallons per minute. If it exceeds that due to high pressure and long periods of usage, and eventually the restrictor fails, you'll notice a high amount of discharge versus pure water. At that point, it's time to change out the flow restrictor. On the opposite end, you may find, as you're running water through your system, that your flow restrictor is not allowing water through. In fact, it's completely blocked off. That may indicate that either some debris, some discharge, or silicone has built up in the restrictor, which would mean it's time to replace the fitting. RO membranes are designed to run with restriction to create back pressure and allow proper purification and flow. So it's important to get familiar with how this waste discharge behaves.